Life's a game, the world's a stage, and we are merely role-players, where theatrical people play role-playing games. I'm Matt Boothman, and I'm your compere for this main house production. Here on Merely Role-Players, we improvise stories, for your entertainment and our own. And we use role-playing games to keep the story going places even we can't see coming. Because as theatrical people, we're all about maximising the drama. This episode is part of our current main house production, Vigil, Bad Dog. To tell this story, we're playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat. So please take your seats in the main house. Tonight's production is about to begin. Vigil, a Merely Role-Players main house production. Bad Dog, Act 3 of 5.
Hi there, my name's Alexander Pankhurst and I play Graham the Summoned. Graham's just your average accountant, who happens to be a demon, and is destined to bring about the apocalypse. You know, just your regular, average stuff.
I'm Ellie, and I play Percy Byron, the Exile, a Victorian monster hunter and half-sister to Ada Lovelace. Percy tried to time travel to 1666 to stop the summoning of an apocalyptic demon, but something went wrong, and she landed here in the present day.
I'm Josh, and I play Ginny Greenteeth, the spell slinger. In the Dark Ages, soothsayer Ginny was chased from her village under suspicion of witchcraft. Now, many centuries later, she is the proud owner of a local tourist attraction and gift shop in Sherrydown.
I'm Nat, and I play Gwynned, the Divine. Gwyn was once a shieldmaiden of the triple goddess, the Morrigan. After interfering with one of her schemes by rescuing a mortal man, the Morrigan banished Gwyn to live life as a duck in what became Sherrydown's duck pond. Now released from her curse thousands of years later, Gwyn is trying to forge a new life as part of the local National Trust team, but is finding it difficult to stay under the radar.
Out of one side of the frame comes a police officer running on all fours.
We're on our way to the Abbey.
Oh, not where they're doing that horrible new development, are they?
Brought to you by Voop Regeneration, a member of Lundor Group. Monitored and patrolled by P&Q Security, a member of Lundor Group.
Is it possible that what we thought might have been a police officer is actually a security guard?
I don't think that they're going to be very happy to see us, considering that we assaulted two members of their staff and they know our faces.
The best match is something called a barghest. It possesses like-minded mortals to guard a territory against trespassers. Its first instinct is always just to chase people off, but it can even kill to defend its territory.
I'm going to ask another question that I feel falls under the questions that I've asked, but just to clarify, is it the kind of thing that someone would summon or would just be in the area and possess? Like, do we think someone has caused it to come here now?
It is very possible, for barghests are just spirits that exist, and it is very possible for one to just kind of under the right conditions, when there is territory to be defended and people who want it defended, for a barghest to just spontaneously take up residence there.
Yeah.
Like any spirit, they can be summoned, but the fact that one is here is not necessarily evidence that someone has deliberately brought it here.
Yeah.
It could just be that by fencing off an area and setting guards on it, that they've kind of invited one in.
Right, so Polly's been very useful. Here we go. Barghest.
Right.
So,
Okay.
actually, Hugh it's not to do with him. It's to do with the area and how deeply these corporations want it protected and defended.
Bloody capitalism.
Right?
Bloody sorcerers, they would have summoned it. Mark my words.
So, if the Barghest is mostly motivated by defending this defined territory, if we make the territory public, doesn't belong to anybody, then it has nothing to defend, because no one's trespassing, because everyone has access.
Yes.
It becomes common ground.
Precisely. So we need to
Tear down the walls.
tear down the walls.
Is there any way we can get the companies to relinquish their hold on the thing as well? Because otherwise they're just going to put the hoardings back up.
Is there any way we could make the area undesirable for a 9-hole golf course?
Or perhaps protected?
We could get the National Trust on that, couldn't we?
Discover something. We could bring something, some folly or something strange, some old ruins or bones, like you say.
I feel like just the fact that it was home to whether the general mundane population believe in the efficacy of witchcraft or not, the fact that that abbey used to be home to a secret society of witches that disguise themselves as silent nuns, that's pretty interesting, right? That's of historical significance.
It is, but it's narrative historical significance. I feel like maybe if there were actual artefacts, that might be enough to grind their development to a halt.
Polly pipes up. She's been listening to this whole thing.
You've been really useful.
Also, everybody already knew about the Abbey, right? Everybody knew that the Abbey's there and it's got silent nuns in it and they're still building the golf course. So if it didn't stop them starting the development, why would it stop them now?
That's right. She's a smart girl.
Generally speaking, they stop developments if during the process of excavation they dig up something of historical importance, archaeological significance.
What can we put there?
Some old
Jewellery?
artifact.
Pots.
Pots.
Yeah, bits of pot. I've been watching a lot of reruns of Time Team.
Bits of pot.
A series of small walls. That seems to be something that crops up a lot.
An old helmet. Some coins.
A plague pit.
Ooh. Yes. We could create the image of a plague pit. So there isn't actually a plague pit. Obviously we don't want to put... Do we want to put a plague pit there?
No, we don't want to put a Craig. A Craig pit.
I feel sorry for all the Craigs who will have to give their lives to go in the
this
pit.
worthy cause.
Is your name Craig? You
Get in the pit.
No, well, I'm not...
I could see what I could find in my little bag. Maybe I'll have a really useful object suddenly appear, like an old Anglo-Saxon helmet or some old Roman coins or something.
Why not? We can always try that.
Mrs. McGrew comes out of the back office of the library with a man in a P&Q security windbreaker, and he has a little portfolio under his arm and is tucking a pen back into a pocket in his windbreaker. He shakes her hand and she sort of reluctantly shakes it back and he heads out of the library.
Or we could just go and beat that man up and take his papers from him.
Polly, what's going on there? Why was Mrs. McGrew meeting with someone from that company?
Oh, the rep. The phone's been ringing off the hook from them for a little while. They really wanted to come in and talk about like security for the library, make sure that people don't nick books, that kind of stuff.
Well, that doesn't happen, does it?
Happens sometimes, but it's a library. People are allowed to take the books. That's the whole point. But
they
they
security at that level?
Well, I don't think so, but they wouldn't stop ringing until she agreed to a meeting. So,
is she being threatened?
I don't know. You have to ask her.
Mrs. McGrew.
Yes. What can I do for you?
You just had a meeting with a rep from P&Q. We were just wondering how that went.
That was very nosy.
Could be said that you're not minding yours.
What?
P's and Q's.
What?
By being... I think it's a term phrase.
Not your best work. Not your best work, my darling.
Sorry.
Anyway, what was the outcome of the meeting?
I managed to fight them down to a small presence. They wouldn't really take no for an answer. And they had all of these assurances from the council. It was almost a done deal before he walked in here, apparently. All taken care of above my head. I thought we were having a meeting about making a decision, but apparently it was just about him briefing me on the way it's going to be.
Quick question. Sorry to interrupt. Who above your head do you know?
Oh, it'll be them on the council. They were the ones who run the libraries.
Right.
If they fence off this library and they fenced off Market Street and they fenced off other areas within Sherrydown,
What's to stop them fencing off the woods?
What's to stop them bringing in more bar guests?
But the bar guest, I appreciate you believe it was the sorcerers that summoned it. I think we should stay open to the idea that it just also was drawn to this area. My concern is, why do they want the town in the first place? If they are taking over, what is it? What do they want beyond that? It's not just as simple as they might bring more bar guests. It's more complex.
This is more about. This smacks to me more about control.
Of what?
An area of people. They just want control things, regardless of any outcomes. As far as I can see it, control seems to be the important thing. You
deal with this money stuff.
Yes.
Do you think it's to do with pure money and greed, or do you think it is?
I think Percy was right earlier when she said it's just pure capitalism.
You don't think they're attracted to this town because of the significant amount of supernatural things and people going on here?
That could be the case, yes. I hadn't considered that. Maybe it's a couple of but maybe it's both. Maybe it's both.
Maybe we need to have a conversation with Max Dashwood, CEO of Stupid Companies Incorporated.
Since the nights are getting longer at this time of year, it's just about getting dark as you all leave the library. You had a nice long session at the computers and the books and deciding what to do next. And as you leave the library, just outside on the curb, outside the entrance to the library, is a minibus with the P&Q security logo on the side. And there is a group of 6 uniformed P&Q officers being briefed by a man in a suit with a clipboard, who, as you leave the library, you can hear him saying, "Now, 2 of our officers were assaulted earlier today, so I want you all to be extra on the alert. Keep the catch off your taser holsters. Be ready to draw on anybody acting suspicious. We want to lock down this antisocial behaviour that's happening in this town. That's why we've brought in all of you as extra boots on the ground. We have more and more area in this town to cover every day. It's going to take all of you to keep the peace tonight."
I'll put my hands up. That was my bad. Sorry, guys.
Well, I'll be honest. I think tackling CEOs of companies right now is probably very much out of our league. We need to deal with the immediate threat, which would appear to be these security teams.
Yeah, we currently only know of one bar guest in the area, so that's what we need to focus on right now.
Agreed.
Yes. I suppose given that we tried to convince the local representative of all teenagers to not go, but she seemed concerned that they would go anyway.
Mm-hmm. Which, as their elected representative, is not very impressive.
No.
Does she have no influence at all?
Clearly not.
I hear so much about influencing nowadays, and yet she has failed.
A disaster on all fronts, I'll agree.
So, we need to head down to the Abbey?
Yes.
Back to the Abbey.
That has to be our focus. We have to tear down those gates.
I know you're excited, Ginny. Wait till we get
Turn the Abbey into common ground again. Free for all, land for everybody.
She's getting very excited.
Oh, I'm so excited, my darling.
This is exactly her jam. I think Gwynned is like having these little side notes with Graham and then suddenly realises what she's doing. It was like, oh god.
Shall we tool up?
Do you need to take time to collect things?
I might borrow Mick's sledgehammer.
Well, I mean, if we're all going to do that, I guess I'll drop by the shop and fill up on component pieces and a couple of bits of fudge just in case I need to bring Gwynned round from the death. I feel like that's your revival.
Way to heal
Some people have smelling salts, Gwyneth has fudge.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Ginny drops by the Grove of Oddities. Percy drops by Mick's.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up her stuff.
As soon as those two options are presented, Gwyn is like, I'll go with Percy.
Graham pops to the nearest bin to stock up on supplies.
Because he's hungry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just wriggles around in there a bit.
Yeah.
Absorbs some stuff.
Yeah.
And to get to the abbey on the outskirts of town, are you doing similar configuration before? 2 on a bike and 2 flying? Or are you
I can't,
walking?
I've gone the
Are you
wrong
going to take
way.
a bus?
Oh, because you were there.
I went with Percy because I
Yeah.
wanted
Oh,
to
yeah.
avoid going to the Grove of Oddities.
Yeah, you can always walk. Like, it's not a huge town.
Well, if it's dark, there's probably at some point an opportunity. Once we get on the outskirts, I can fly.
Yeah.
We'll just walk. It's not
We'll
that big,
walk,
is it? So, yeah.
we'll
Don't need
walk.
to be fancy.
No. Not going to get an Uber?
No, I think we'll take in a little night air before our giant battle.
I think that's quite a wise idea.
That would be quite nice.
Right. You all cross paths on your way at the village green. Gwyn, you say you're flying? Flying carrying Percy?
If that's quick, do you want to take your bike or do you want to fly?
No, I'll fly.
Yeah, we'll fly.
All right. The two of you fly over the green as you see Graham and Ginny strolling across the village green. The duck pond obviously brings back memories for Gwynned.
Classic times.
Yeah. Some of the benches on the village green have been recently replaced, and they're now the type that have like the armrests in the middle, so you can't lie on them. And there are signs on the lampposts and the telegraph poles saying this area patrolled by P&Q security, and there's a couple of guards. Just, one hanging out outside the Duck and Parsnip, one hanging by the duck pond, arms crossed, keeping an eye out.
Hopefully not looking up.
Probably not looking up, no. Graham and Ginny don't look very threatening, but Graham is unnerving. And I think as the two of you are crossing the green, the guard by the duck pond does a kind of a double take, looks at the two of you, and maybe as he's looking away, sees something else out of the corner of his eye where Graham is standing, and immediately his taser is out and he's pointing it at the two of you and walking towards you with purpose. You two, what's your business out here at night?
Except Ginny saw this coming, of course.
Of course.
Ginny had a flash forward just an hour or so ago. I'm going to spend one of my tokens to retroactively warn someone, in this case myself and Graham, about an attack so that it doesn't happen. So we take a slightly different route around so that we never end up encountering him.
That could have been. But in fact, Gwyn and Percy fly over the common and don't see Ginny and Graham because they have taken a detour, which means that you're going to maybe going to take a little longer to get there than you would have otherwise. Sure. I think generally, if Gwyn and Percy are flying, they're going to get there first anyway. So yeah, you two skulk through the back streets instead of over the green. Gwyn and Percy, you are the first to arrive at the Abbey Links. Where would you like to land?
In the tree that you climbed before.
Okay.
With the hope that perhaps it has a view over the fence.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Great.
You can see that there are 2 P&Q guards at each entrance to the site, so 6 in total, plus a couple actually patrolling inside the site. You can see their LED torches moving around. There is also a group of teens already in the site who, with your kind of keen vision, you can see are making a game of staying out of the patrol paths of the 2 patrolling guards. Do you want to read a bad situation?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, great.
lovely old John.
That's an 11.
What is with all these good rolls?
Yeah.
Let me attack you.
It's preventing me from leveling up. It's actually quite inconvenient.
I think that means you get to ask 3 questions off read a bad situation.
Wow. Exciting. What's the best way in?
Would be flying and dropping down from above, because
yeah.
then you'll avoid the
thing,
perimeter guards.
I kind of guessed that.
Yeah, or kind of going through the fence somewhere that then not
There's
guard.
no natural door.
That they're not.
Yeah.
They're mostly guarding gates.
Okay. What's most vulnerable to me? As in, but in that context, I'm kind of thinking out, do the security guards have a vulnerability that means that we can take them out peacefully and harmlessly?
So they're wearing stab vests, but no other protection. So they're torsos are covered, but it's rated for taking a knife at close range. It's not rated for turning a solid blow, e.g. from a quarterstaff. And their limbs and heads aren't protected. They're not wearing helmets or anything. So, like, the human forms...
Yeah, I don't really want to beat them up, though.
Yeah. They're also all carrying...
Speak for yourself.
They're all carrying tasers, which could be taken from them and turned on them.
Yeah. Presumably the bar guest is, in fact, like, is not visible until the guards will spot them, and then it may possess them.
That is a good theory, yeah.
Okay. There's half of my mind that's like, is there a way to do big magic to just put everyone to sleep?
Yeah, that definitely would be big magic.
And we're all magical.
Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
You sense a familiar presence.
Mm-hmm.
Not fully manifested, but certainly with an eye on this situation.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening here and your involvement in it has caught the attention of the Morrigan.
Yeah.
What really happened to the Blackout Four? All anyone knows is that not one of them survived that dark night. This October, live on the London stage, merely role players will finally pierce that darkness. For one night only, watch 4 gifted performers adopt the personas of the Blackout Four, and to divine their unknown doom, see us turn to that mysterious oracle, the Tarot. What black fate befell those tragic souls, and which of them seized a spark of hope before all the lights went out? Lights Out, a Merely Role Players and Blackshaw Theatre Company production for the London Horror Festival. See it Sunday 24th of October, 8:30pm at the Pleasance Theatre. Tickets on sale now at londonhorrorfestival.co.uk. Alright, lovies, it's me, Matt, your compere. And look, I know it's gush to flyer another show in the interval, but Lights Out is this week, and it's playing for one night only, so if I don't bend your ear about it now, when can I? The London Horror Festival is open as of yesterday, the 18th of October, and our show, Lights Out, the stage debut of Merely Role Players, is this Sunday the 24th, at 8:30pm at the Pleasance Theatre. It stars Alexander Pankhurst and Natalie Winter, who you've already heard this episode as Graham and Gwynned, Strat and Helen Stratton, and me. We've all been on stage before, but it's our first time performing live as Merely Role Players, and none of us has ever performed anything quite like this before. You should come and see Lights Out because it's a one-off. The story we'll tell on Sunday is one we'll generate as we go. The same combination of character choices and tarot card draws will never happen the same way again, and this is your only chance to be in the room and feel it emerging along with us. And you should come because it's dark out there, and getting darker all the time in more ways than one. And all most of us can do is try to keep our own little patches of light alive as long as we can. And when you're going through something, it's healthy and healing to share in stories about others going through something similar, especially if the story amps up that thing to the extreme, the darkness made flesh, the little patch of light made literal. I'm telling you now, there won't be a happy ending for any of our characters, but I guarantee you'll see them hope and strive in any case, and I think that can be a comfort. There should be tickets left on the door if you want to decide on the day, but booking ahead is always the best plan if you want to guarantee yourself a seat. It's also the only way to get the double bill discount for booking both Lights Out and the Scare Slam at the same time, which I highly recommend doing for a double jab of scary times. Links to book both shows are in the programme notes, or you can head to pleasance.co.uk and hit the London Horror Festival tab. I hope I get to see as many of you as possible on Sunday. I'll chat to all of you again on the other side. In the meantime, please take your seats once again in the main house, as we continue Vigil, Bad Dog, Act 3 of 5.
I'm going to try and speak to you later. Here.
She's so very possessive over you.
Is it that there's like some ravens nearby or something?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm just watching over.
Yeah. And they're kind of contributing to the general dour, grim, unwelcoming atmosphere of this whole site.
Because we're now pitch black, aren't we? It's at 9.
It's at night, yeah.
Misty,
the only light is the LED torches of the security guards.
And need like floodlights and stuff around the site.
Ooh. No. And they are, you can see the beams almost solid in the mist that is beginning to come up off the grass and the shrubs and the weeds.
That's really cool.
I guess the question is, Gwyn and Percy, do you want to stay in your recon position until Ginny and Graham arrive, or do you want to take action first?
As soon as Gwyn has noticed the potential Morrigan presence, her original plan possibly would have been like, well, we may as well get started. But now she's very much like, we are not alone.
What do you mean?
Can you not hear them?
Who?
And she'll kind of waft to, presumably, a tree yonder.
What, the birds?
That's not birds.
Well, I mean, it is birds.
Maybe I ought to try and have a word with her before we try anything here.
You sure?
Nope.
Brilliant.
Do you want to stay here?
Well, I don't want to go with you.
Okay. Gwyn is going to try and stealthily fly over to the other tree and sit on there next to the ravens.
The beady eyes of 3 ravens converge on Gwyn.
We're trying to help these children here. Is that not something you want?
Can you not see and feel Gwynned thrice cursed? The cold overcoming this town. You put such store in mortals, and yet left to their own devices, see what they do. They freeze each other out, make spaces hostile instead of welcoming. Do you feel the warmth of a hearth here, Gwynned thrice cursed?
Well, you say mortals, but it seems actually that the bigger picture is that there's much more malevolent supernatural involvement here. I was actually wondering if you knew anything about that.
The voice is coming from the ravens. There is no kind of change to their appearance. There is no melding. There is no woman appearing.
Yeah.
She's staying in this bird form. The machinations that have led to this situation are not of my making, but I observe and I judge according to the terms of our agreement.
And how do you judge the actions of this company that seems to be trying to take over the town? They have caused this issue here.
I judge their actions to have proved my point somewhat. That in pursuit of their own advancement, they create chill, they create grimness, overtaking this town. Unfeeling about their fellow mortals, about whom you care so much. This is a mortal-on-mortal issue.
Isn't it always? I thought that's what we did. Stick our oar in when someone asks.
Are you asking something of me, shieldmaiden?
I am asking if you know anything about the people at the top. The people that are putting up all of these barriers. The people that are creating this cold, heartless space why they're doing it. What do they stand to gain?
I know not with any certainty, but I am watching them.
They are not mine, but I feel they have the potential to be soon.
So you want them to succeed?
One of the ravens says, "I," and another of them says,
Perhaps.
and the third remains silent.
Are they connected in any way to the demon?
The demon with which you are associating?
I mean, associate is a strong word.
You may need to roll something for this.
Yeah, fair.
It could be investigate a mystery, or it could be manipulate. It's probably not manipulate someone because you're not really offering her anything.
No.
You kind of want something from her, but I think it's probably investigate mystery.
Okay. That's my first failure, which is appropriate. 6 total. Good.
Okay, mark experience.
Yeah.
I believe that gives you an advance, right?
That I've leveled up, yeah.
You have. Do you know what you want? Do you want to take it straight away or leave it to the end of the session?
I was going to kind of see what was going to be the most appropriate at this time.
Sure.
And actually, in this moment, the divine move that feels appropriate is the Boss from Beyond move.
Uh-huh.
Which is quite similar to Ginny's at the start. Do ask a thing and it helps later. But I don't know whether that would... I guess this conversation is the equivalent of that, and then moving forward I can use that move at the start. At the beginning of each mystery I roll plus weird. On a 10+, my superiors ask me to do something simple. On a 7 to 9 they ask me to do something complicated or difficult. In either case, I get to ask them one of the questions from the investigate a mystery move straight away, before anything happens. On a miss, I'm required to do something terrible.
God. Kill one of your fellow hunters.
Yay! But it feels thematic for this moment, I guess.
Okay. But with a fail.
Oh no! What have I just done to myself? Are they connected in any way to the demon?
The demon with which you are associating?
I mean, associate is a strong word.
That fire
is not the warmth that we have been speaking of when thrice cursed.
And the ravens take flight towards the site, and as the flapping and fluttering fills your ears, you also hear from the site, "Hey! You kids!"
Yeah.
Followed by a roar. There's walkie-talkie static in it, and there's the engines of patrol cars in it, but it all comes together to be a canine barking roar.
Has it possessed the jeep that they're in instead of the person?
You can't see at this point, it's dark down there, but that is the sound that you hear, and you hear like the cries of young people like yelling to each other, "Scatter! Run!"
Okay. Immediately, stealth plan out the window. Gwyn is going to fly down and stand in front of them. You're going to take a branch off the tree as a quarterstaff.
Yeah, just
fly down.
Just like
ready.
Snap off the branch you were sitting on,
Yeah.
and take flight as you fall.
Yeah.
Percy, what do you do?
I'm still up in the tree, aren't I?
Yeah.
I would like to try to shoot a zip line down into the enclosure.
So cool.
Thank you.
Roll act under pressure.
Oh,
It's
good.
plus cool. Because like you can definitely do this. It's just a case of like what sort of landing you can expect.
Okay. Oh, 11.
A pretty good landing.
Seeing what happens, Percy whips out an arrow from her quiver, neatly loops some rope onto it, takes aim, shoots it directly at the trouble zone inside the enclosure. It obviously hits the mark perfectly, secures the other end of the rope to the tree, and then just whips a I don't know.
Use your bow. Go Tomb Raider.
Oh, thank you. Uses the bow, loops over the zip line, and then just swooshes in and does a perfect landing. I'm going to go for a superhero one-knee landing.
Yeah, the classic Black Widow landing.
Yes, yes, thank you. Not posing. And
I feel like Gwyn and Percy land at the same time.
Yes, please. Yeah, boots on the ground, boof, same time. Ready to go.
Percy, as you land and like whip the bow off the zip line and into a half-drawn position, a torch beam snaps onto you and you hear, "Hey, you can't carry a deadly weapon here!" So we've got you two have landed between the converging security guards and the youths. So you see, as one of the security guards, taser out, is approaching, the one who is kind of in the lead begins to change.
Mm-hmm. Ronnie, out of here, now. Take your friends.
Don't need to tell us twice. His eyes suddenly become reflective and become like two little dots rather than just blanks in his head. The mist that is low-lying over the site seems to converge and swirl around him, and he tips forward onto his hands and feet and then rises slightly off the ground as the mist forms around him into the shape of a giant black dog. Like bigger than a pet type dog, probably even bigger than a kind of natural wolf, like a size, dire wolf kind of size. The hound's eyes shine like the LED torches that all of the security guards have been carrying, and it roars once again with that mixed, static engine sound, canine roar kind of sound.
This has been Vigil, a main house production from Merely Roleplayers. It stars Natalie Winter as Gwynned, Alexander Pankhurst as Graham, Josh Yard as Ginny Greenteeth, and Ellie Pitkin as Persephone Byron. Sound design for this production is by Natalie Winter, and the theme music is by Alexander Pankhurst. I'm Matt Boothman, and I play the supporting cast, as well as editing and producing the episode. We were playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat Productions. You can find Monster of the Week at genericgames.co.nz. Merely Roleplayers is a Foggy Outline production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Until next time, if drama be the food of life, play on.
Thank you for not making that sound effect simple.
I'm sorry. Hey, at least like engines and static you can source, right?
Yes.
Simple.
Easy.
Easy. And all you do is you just squish them together.
That's from the man that said, "Oh, the tourist trap doesn't make any noise."
Pom, 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 pom.
This is true. I'm sorry.
It's all right. She likes a challenge. She's very talented.
Yeah, she's so talented.
I'll make all these noises and I'm out.